the rally, which each year brings the best in the world to New Zealand. On day one, Richard Mason produced a world-class performance to lead the Kiwis. Hayden Patton may not be on Mason's pace, but a good finish today will give him the title New Zealand Rally Champion. Reputations and titles on the line. Day 2, Repco Rally New Zealand. Hello and welcome to Repco Rally New Zealand. I'm Clint Brown. Glad you could join us as we get some skids. Of course, it's also the fifth round of the Vantage Aluminium Joinery New Zealand Rally Championship, and we're back for the action with the second leg. And I've got to tell you, the service park here at Mystery Creek really is an absolute hive of activity from the Ford boys behind us, the superstars of the WRC. Morning, noon and night, the service crews do a great job. And while the rest of the New Zealand stars get ready to race from here, let's go to Pukekohe, where Roger Davis is getting ready to rumble with the stars from the Kiwi 2, and the final day for the Classic Championship. It's all part of the Possumbourne Memorial Rally alongside the superstars of the WRC. Roger?
Yes, Clint. Well, I'm down here at Pukekohe, which is, of course, the home of the late Possumbourne, here for the Possumbourne Rally. And part of that rally is the Classic Championship and also the Kiwi 2. And with me is the leader of the Kiwi 2, Aaron Cook. You've got 45 points as the lead at the moment. And, of course, Dave Strong's not doing the event.
Yeah, we've got quite a healthy lead, and we're pretty much here today to make sure we finish and collect points. We've done some calculations, and fourth should be good enough for us to wrap it up, so that's what we're aiming for.
The only one you really got to watch today is Patrick Malley.
Yeah, he looked good yesterday. We went and watched some stages, and he was looking good until he stopped. So, yeah, we'll just have to keep pushing along and make sure we finish.
Meanwhile, let me wish Dave Strong and the team all the best as they recover from that big fire.
There's nothing left, no cars, so very little salvageable. No more national championship this year anyway. Yeah, there's a few mechanical items. Might get the gearbox, sump guard. Hopeful about the brakes. Big brakes are worth a lot of money, but they've been pretty hot, but I drive them pretty hot too, so maybe they're okay, but nothing else. We're going to rebuild. We've got 100 staff and they all want their wages, and it's a bit of we've got an obligation. You've got to take care of the bad times, and it'll hurt. It's a major blow. But already, the next day our turnover was okay. Can't go rallying without having a sound business, and that's one of the reasons I've got to pull the pin. Got to get my core business going. But no, we'll survive for sure.
It's a nervous start to the day for classic driver Rob Wiley.
I must admit I am suffering a bit from nerves, but once we get going I think it'll be fine.
What's the plan today? You've got an 8-point lead over Bert Murray.
We have to theoretically just finish second. Bert can go out in front and do the usual thing, and then we have to finish second. So we should be able to do that, all things being equal. And I think the car's well prepared and we're ready to go. So we just got to do what we've been doing all season, I think, and concentrate on that.
6 stages over 64 kilometres. The weather looks perfect for rallying. So let's check out the stages with Emma Gilmore and the Vantage Stage Preview.
Day 2 of Rally New Zealand and the K2 and Classics join us for this leg of the rally. First stage, Raiko Port Waikato, is a fantastic stage, has a really good rhythm to it. Nice and flowing, good camber to the road, quite different to day 1, but a fantastic stage to start with. Second stage, Possum. Again, another great stage, but quite different in nature to the first one. A lot narrower the road, and again, very tight and twisty in parts. Also quite often under trees, and again, it can get quite slippery in there if it's been wet. Following stage, CRC Franklin, is another great stage. Probably one of the toughest stages of the event. At 32 kilometres long, it's really important to have a good rapport with your co-driver in here, as it's absolutely crucial to be able to carry good speed through these really high cambered corners. Just one more stage before service, another run around the Mystery Creek Super Special stage. Be a big lunchtime crowd there to cheer us on. Once we leave service, we head back out to a big afternoon of rallying. ACL Te Akau South is a famous Rally New Zealand road. It's been used for many, many years and it's quite fast, quite different to the stages we had yesterday and even the ones we had this morning. Fast and flowing, fantastic stage, can clear a lot, especially if there's a bit of gravel on the stages. Champion Batteries Te Akau North is another great Rally New Zealand classic. The stage is 32 kilometres long and has a bit of everything in it. fast, technical, some crests, bridges, absolutely everything, absolutely awesome to drive.
So it's a real United Nations of fans gathered to spectate, all united in their support of these great drivers and these great cars. Hayden Paddon will again lead the Kiwis away. Starting midfield in the production World Rally cars.
Titans in off camber.
Clint, these stages today are classic New Zealand rally roads, as Emma Gilmore said in the preview. We've talked about the fast and flowing, but look at this. The WRC cars have cleared the loose stones off the road, but the drivers are going to have to be a little bit careful because, as you can see here, loose gravel on the outside of the corners, so they've got to be a little bit wary and stay in that line.
A little bit of rubble out there. I thought Drake had gone, but let's bring back Barney Rubble. Let's go on board with Hayden Paddon. Needs to finish in the top 5 to claim his first New Zealand Rally Championship.
6 right, 30. All at +9 cut.
Well, talk about speed. In conditions like this, these production cars will be at maximum speed, maybe 200 kilometres an hour. That's fantastic through here.
5 right plus, don't. 7 left. 50, but slipping fast, 5 left of the finish. The 7 right.
John Kennard calling the pace notes. Fantastic. Down to the time. His time, 10 minutes, 43.5.
All over the car, isn't it?
Hayden, a challenging start to the morning.
Yeah, just really struggling for rear end grip at the moment. Just the rear end sliding everywhere, and I think it's maybe from the changes I made overnight, so it doesn't feel like it's working to me, and we're losing a lot of time.
So that's why he wasn't happy at the end of that stage. So can Stu Taylor follow up from his day one performance, hopefully this time with the steering column intact.
3 right, keep in.
But once again, Clint, just look at these roads and also look at these camera shots. Aren't they fantastic?
80.
Good to see the crowds out there today as well. Look at that.
Stuart Taylor using all the road and some.
Another one of the committed Kiwis in Repco Rally New Zealand. On board with Stuart Taylor and Warwick Searle calling the notes.
We're talking about committed. They've got to really stay on these wheel tracks, as you can see there, because if you get offline, very slippery outside there. You see Stu Taylor, he cuts in on the apex right on the inside of that turn, does the same here, gets the car right in on the inside and stays on the line.
80, 5 right plus into 15, 4 left plus cut. 30.
Well, this is why these roads are loved by the drivers. They can push hard.
Pick up 5 left minus tightens to 4 minus cut. Narrow concrete bridge.
Whoa, but sometimes a bit too hard.
Yes, maybe not that hard. Lucky to escape here by Stu.
Yeah, not too much damage.
Yeah, we had a spin. We've just focused on putting in a nice careful run on that run. Just settled down a bit, and yeah, so we're just trying to get back on top of things.
Lucky start for the day for Stu Taylor. Now Chris West next on the road, complete with his new steering wheel after it snapped off on day one. That saw his championship chances basically disappear. He can still chase victory today and finish the championship with a podium position.
Well, look at the concentration on his face, and he's certainly got the race pace on. Now, Westy must do well today. In fact, he must finish ahead of Hayden Paddon to keep the championship alive. So it's a make it or break it day for Chris West today.
And, of course, his very experienced co-driver Gary Cowan and the Andrew Sims Mitsubishi.
And just listen to how Gary Cowan is so precise with the notes and very relaxed.
30. Keep left.
Championship winning team, they've done it before.
Right minus.
Had a fantastic win in Rally Whangarei, but man,
Left minus. And
a lot of hard work to do after that steering wheel fell off yesterday, broke off.
into 4. Left plus in.
Okay, here he comes down to the classic limestone area, of course. Let's check out Westy's time with the finish.
Right, 50. Yep.
10 minutes, 39.9, fastest so far. Richard Mason now, remember, he's the first of the non-priority drivers, meaning he's running behind the PWRC cars. Look at the B&T Subi.
Well, just looking through that corner, no nonsense through there. Didn't drift the car wide, and already I'd say he's quicker.
Of all the drivers in the New Zealand Rally Championship, he's the most like Sebastian Loeb at keeping it tight, cutting through that apex.
Yes, as you can see him do down here.
36 left minus.
His drive on day one was absolutely fantastic, so let's see if he can do something like that on day two.
35 left cut. Open. 5 left plus over. Slippy finish. And 6 right.
Let's check out the time. 10 minutes 37.2, fastest again.
Richard, 2.7 second lead already.
Well, it's not big yet, but hey, we're trying to drive nicely and, really enjoying it. Unfortunately, the water spray's working, but it didn't seem to make a lot of difference in there, which is fantastic.
How have you found the roads this morning?
Yeah, really good. I think they're better than last year. We're certainly not complaining right now.
And certainly right up there and with the Group N as well, the fastest again.
Yeah, awesome.
Emma Gilmore next on the road. She really has excelled on these roads this weekend.
Certainly has, Clint. Emma struggled this year to find a good setup in her car, but the team has found the right combination in this event.
And she's teamed up really well again with Claire Mole, the British co-driver for Repco Rally New Zealand.
Well, just look at her entry coming downhill. She's certainly got some confidence back now. This is a great sign.
We could say she's got the vantage back in that Subaru there, Roger.
The big vantage.
Slippy 4 over finish.
Let's see if they can turn that into their advantage with a quick time for the stage. 10 minutes 44, just 7 seconds outside of Mason's pace. Brett Martin put in some stunning times on day one, so let's see what he can produce today.
Yes, you can see clearly a little bit wide on that corner, so pushing a little bit of gravel further out on the road.
Plenty of dust there too.
6 left over finish, 6 right.
Now let's see how their time goes.
150.
10:39.6. He's second fastest, only just.
Well done, mate.
Good clean start too for Callum McInnes in the Milk Bar Subaru.
And 5 right to 7 left opens 50. 5 left minus over finish and 5 right 150.
McInnes just a little off the pace here. 10 minutes 49.1. Sixth fastest so far. Another hard charge too from Andre Meyer, the new rookie champ. Losing a bit of time though in the Domino's Spy Subaru for this weekend. He was actually 13th fastest on this stage, so perhaps some problems. Sloane Cox, the fastest of the team drivers, slots in behind Taylor in 8th. Kirsty Nelson still suffering centre diff problems from day one, so bit of a wild ride in 12th. And for one of his old cars to his new car, it's still that man on the move, Richard Mason, just under 3 seconds from Martin West. Welcome back to Repco Rally New Zealand, round 5 with the Vantage Aluminium Joinery New Zealand Rally Championship. Stage 7, Richard Mason continued his dominance with a stunning time, 11 minutes 02 through the stage. Brett Martin still held second, but now the gap was out to 15 seconds. Behind Martin, though, things were about to change. Chris West was having brake issues, and it wasn't long before the former champ was caught out.
Opens and then tightens.
So a big roll there for West End with him off the road. Suddenly Hayden Patton moved up to third, 3.7 seconds behind Martin now. And a great drive too from Callum McInnes to move past Emma Gilmore up to 4th on this stage. Emma Gilmore just losing 7 seconds to McInnes on the stage, but it was enough to let him pass.
1 right. Don't cut. 3 left, 1 right. 40.
Well, that's very interesting because Claire Mole called a 1 right to Emma Gilmore, but Westy had a 2 right, so that shows how critical these notes are on this tight, twisty stage.
1 right plus, don't go wide.
Stage 8, just look at the huge crowd filling the hillside. Good on you, boys. Check it out, the Repco Rally New Zealand.
medium.
Richard Mason unbeatable so far today, and it's the same on the stage, Roger.
Yes, we're talking to the Pirelli technicians last night, and apparently Richard is virtually the only driver in the field who is getting these Pirelli Scorpion tyres up to optimum temperature.
Look the way he was dancing through those cambered corners.
Yeah, well, this team from Marsden have got the jump on the rest of the world today.
What they talk about is having that rhythm behind the wheel.
20, 3 right, opens over 100 over finish.
And over the finish, the good bang there too. Stage 8 time, 22 minutes 53.8. Now, Brett Martin has been the closest to Richard's pace despite a turbo problem on day one. What can he do here?
20, 80,
well, Brett only decided to do this rally at the last minute with a bit of help from his sponsors
100,
and also Alan Geddes. But looks like it's gone all wrong.
4 left.
Doesn't sound good.
No.
4 right.
Problem in the gearbox area, I'd say.
Hayden Patton was just 3 seconds behind Martin going into the stage, so it looks like he'll inherit second place. It's all happening well for Shrek today.
It certainly is, but look at this massive crowd here. Isn't it great to see them sticking around and watching the Kiwis? They've already seen the WRC cars, and now they're sticking around for what could be the future New Zealand Rally champion.
First Westie, then Martin, so what could the time be for Patton? Just has to finish in that top 5. Nicely over Mason's bump. 23 minutes and 12, not great.
That was bloody hard work. This is just a losing battle.
Interesting what they're saying behind the car there. Now, Callum McInnes is fourth, just 6 seconds down on Patton, so this could be his chance to move into second.
Don't go wide.
Oh, he's done something here.
What?
Now, Callum's just said that. That's exactly the same corner as last year where he dropped out of the event.
120.
Looks like a puncher on the front left of this car, Clint, so there's going to be a lot of time loss here.
Well, we're talking frustration for the milk bar, boys. Might end up at the milk bar. Emma Gilmore started the stage in 5th. Looks like if she could do the stage without any problems, she could actually move up to 3rd.
Braking 20, don't cut 1 left. Don't cut 1 left. Into 3 right tightens. Into 2 left.
Just listening to Emma's onboard, she's in a low gear here and revving the engine, so an aggressive approach on the stage.
20. Slow 4 left minus. 4 right. 20. 1 left. Opens to 4 minus hug. 4 right.
Oh no, Emma's missed that 1 left call.
Frustration for her now. Forgot to hug. 23 minutes 22, so she's lost 10 seconds to Patton. Stu Taylor, another who would move up on the stage, but could he do enough to actually challenge Gilmore? Now, the gap was just 9 seconds at the start of the stage.
Stuart really wants to make up after yesterday's problems, but, oh no, he's in the bank. In fact, Clint, that's the corner that Hannanen rolled last year.
30. 5 right.
Geez, they're all going for it this morning and all paying the price.
Well, lucky escape there for Stuart Taylor.
5 right minus. 4 left.
Then again, that's the sport of rallying.
3 right.
Go hard, then go home.
It's also these roads, Clint, because they're fast and flowing, and every now and then they can catch you.
Whoa!
Oh, is it just about did again?
Jeez, he held on to that one.
60, 3 left.
Well, what's his time going to be?
23 minutes 19.6, just over 7 seconds down on Patton. So he's in 4th place, hanging in there. Chris West was held back on the road by rookie champion Andre Meyer, who sacrificed 4 minutes helping the former champ, so that's great stuff. The battered Mitzi, though, now down in last place in the Kiwi battle, but West was still driving to prove a point. 5th fastest on the stage. Look at his eyeballs.
Into 3 right, minus into 2 left.
Yes, he won't be very happy with himself, and that car's a little bit battered, so the boys are going to have to do a bit of work on that at service.
All the action up front had allowed Sloane Cox to move up to 5th place, but he still wasn't driving anywhere near his capacity. Kirsty Nelson starting to get to grips with her mainly rear-wheel drive Subaru now in 9th. So what a start to the Possumbourne Memorial Rally Day with Rapco Rally New Zealand. It's Mason out in front with Patton second. Plenty of carnage down the rest of the field. Kiwi 2 battle become a Fiesta battle with the surprise leader being the young rookie Ben Jagger. 9th fastest on stage 6, 8th fastest on 7. He was now 8th position overall. Patrick Malley had started the day just behind Jagger's pace in 10th overall, but by stage 7, he had moved up to 9th, but had young Aussie Brendan Reeves breathing down his neck.
Yes, well, Brendan Reeve had lost a lot of his preload in the diff at the end of day 1, so was struggling a little bit on stage 6 to get used to that. As you can see a little bit there, understeering off the corner. But by stage 7, he was 3 seconds behind Malley, so a good effort to get up there.
And the fastest of the hybrid Kiwi 2 cars was the Mitsubishi V6 of Sean Gray. Gray started with a modest 14th place on stage 6, up to 4th in class, 11th overall on 7. So that left championship leader Aaron Cook in 13th overall on stage 7, 5th in the class.
Well, a conservative approach here by Cook, but really that's all he needs to do is finish the day, be sensible, and the title's his.
Talking of titles, Rob Wiley just has to finish second in the classic class today to take that title.
It's a 3 right at the end here.
But he's still got to keep an eye on Rob Murray and Deborah Kibble. If they force him into 3rd place, then the title goes Murray's way.
Well, sometimes attack is the best defence, Clint, and Rob was fastest classic on stage 6 and 7.
5 right over a small crest. Into a 5
Just look at the onboards through this fairly tight, twisty section of the stage, and notice that these rear-wheel drive cars, they tend to turn them in a little bit earlier and the back comes out. And you can see there a lot of work being done on the wheel by Rob Wiley.
80, 5 right, 50, 4 left, plus 80, 5 left, 200.
I'd say, Clint, he's certainly trying through here.
8 right.
Deborah Kibble then, the driver who could upset Wiley. She was second to him on stage 6, but by the time they finished stage 7, she dropped to 3rd and trailed Wiley by 34 seconds. Bert Murray not having the start he was after. Remember, this is the final round for the Classic, so it's do or die for him today. Stage 7, he trailed Wiley by 18 seconds. And also amongst the Classics, a classic Kiwi driver, Dermot Malley, 17th in the second Truth Fiesta. And Mike Cameron and Keith Franken continue their battle for the old-timers. Cameron the early leader, but Franken had overtaken him by stage 7.
Well, we don't really know how that escort ended up there, but doing the Possumbourne side of the rally, but that's the big question. How did he end up there?
Keith Franken giving him a wide berth at the same time. No doubt that's going through his brain too. Glad it's not me. Shane Booth made a rare appearance in the championship, but his lack of stage miles showing as he was bringing up the rear of the Kiwi 2 field. So by stage 8, as they head back to service, it's Ben Jagger, still the surprise leader in Kiwi 2. But the Aussie Brendan Reeves has made a small gain here, overtaking Malley to be second, 12 seconds down on Jagger. Malley in 3rd, but now 9 seconds down on Reeves. Sean Gray was leading the hybrids in 4th. Problems late in the stage sidelined him though. So Aaron Cook now up to 4th place and an eye on the prize. Bert Murray had the classic lead, 12th overall. And Rob Wiley was playing it safe in 2nd place in the classics. Just about say he's got one hand on the trophy already.
Well, on those shots, I don't know if he's playing it safe because he's throwing his car around. It's a good drive by Rob Wiley. Well, you can see the roads now. Remember, there's been heavy rain affected in this area leading up to the rally, and the local councils have done a fantastic job to repair the roads so that the world can see the fantastic place this countryside is through the eyes of WRC.
Short 4 right.
Yes, and remember, over 100 million people watching the WRC part of the rally through TV or internet or listening to the World Rally feed, so it's fantastic to showcase our Canberra Kiwi countryside.
Well, talking about the road conditions, Rob Wiley's got a handful here at the moment, and the problem is it's dry in one area and then all of a sudden you come into a slippery section.
Just like down there. Deborah Kibble now third. The gap to Wiley, 44 seconds. Screaming Dermot Malley, fifth at Kiwi 2. And to the gentleman races, Keith Frankham had secured fourth place in the Classics, gaining nearly a minute on Mike Cameron by the end of the morning. And we'll be heading to the break on Repco Rally New Zealand Round 5 of the Vantage Aluminium Joinery New Zealand Rally Championship. Welcome back to day 2 of Repco Rally New Zealand, and it was welcome back to Mystery Creek for all the cars. Richard Mason didn't win the stage for a change as he rolled a tyre and punctured in the stage, but he still held the lead. That allowed Hayden Patton to claw back a few seconds. He was second by 29 seconds now. Chris West got some consolation by winning the stage. But misery for Aaron Cook, whose car never made it back to Hamilton, leaving Jagger in the lead of Kiwi Toolan. Still a chance at the title.
Richard, once again, a great morning, but just a little bit of a problem there in Mystery Creek.
Yeah, just a little bit rough around the Super Special and popped the tyre off the rim. But I don't know, we've still got a good lead, so it's okay.
29.2 seconds, fairly convincing again.
Yeah, no, we're very happy with that. That's a good start to the day, and another half of the day to go, and then another day to go for the first Kiwi. So we've got a bit of work to do yet.
Yeah, today's certainly going a lot better than yesterday. The few changes we made overnight, we're obviously getting a bit more traction, a bit more grip, but we still got very little rear end grip, like in a couple of those stages. It's just like driving a rear-wheel drive car, and you can see all the time just vanishing away. And sure, to a certain extent, it's the same for everyone else, but I'm sure there's a lot of room for improvement in the car and in my driving. But we're moving in the right direction, and we are making small steps.
Emma, at the moment, you're in the podium position, you're third place.
Yeah, it's a good spot to be. A bit disappointed with the morning and the fact that, we kept throwing away sort of chunks of time, that it was just a bit silly, but just happy with the overall speed, really, so just have to tidy it up a bit and stop throwing away the chunks of time.
In the early stages, we're matching times with Hayden Patton.
Yeah, and in the last stages, we know where we threw away time, we stalled and went straight ahead in the long stage, so we threw away probably 15 seconds there, so, we're still really happy and really enjoyed that stage. It was just a buzz to drive, so it was good fun.
Sets up a nice battle with Stewie Taylor. He's 5.5 seconds behind you.
Yeah, still another 60 k's of stages to go, though, so anything could happen this afternoon.
Stuart, a few problems this morning?
Yeah, I struggled from the outset with maybe the handling and the grip. It wasn't that it was wet or anything, it was just a different balance, and I touched a few banks and things, and I think I knocked the alignment out, so from that point on I was sort of fighting the car for the rest of the two stages. So it hasn't been the greatest of days, but I guess we've got the car back here in one piece, so the boys are straightening up at the moment, and hopefully we can get a bit back on track of where we were yesterday.
Chris, a lot of damage to the car. What happened?
We had a brake problem in the morning. The left front wheel bearings collapsed, and of course it's causing severe pad knock off. And when you're trying and having a go, it's obviously the pedal's gone halfway down, and it's just really inconsistent and running out of brakes. And in hindsight, I maybe should have backed off a wee bit more, but just caught me out and paid the price.
Much time lost in there?
Yeah, we lost a lot of time. We had to get towed off. Very fortunate that Andre Meyer stopped and kindly lent a hand. So, we've lost a lot of time.
Callum, not the best of morning, a few problems?
No, it started off pretty well. We were pretty comfortable with the car. Then just a couple of Ks into Franklin, we ran a bit wide and rolled a wheel off the rim. Had to change a puncture. Then probably about 6 Ks from the end of the same stage, we went a bit wide and clipped a fence and got another puncture and had to drive all the way back and do the super special on it, so it was pretty slow.
But no problems for the rookie Ben Jagger. Best performance so far this season.
You're going pretty good today. You got a 10-second lead over Brendan Reeve.
Yeah, we've stepped it up today, and the pace is going really good, and we're pleased with our results.
How are you finding the roads out there?
Oh, they're awesome. They really suit my driving style, I think, and we'll just try and keep it up for the afternoon.
But we'll have to keep an eye out for the Aussie. That's Brendan Reeves, who's been improving his times all morning.
Yeah, we've been in front of the boys on the road, so we haven't seen the time. So now we've got the service. They got us by 10, so we've got 60 Ks to bring it all back.
So you're going to put your foot down?
Yeah, we've got to look at the weekend as well. That's a big picture for us to try and win the weekend. So it'd be nice to win today, though, so we'll see how we can go.
And the rally now moves south to the awesome Te Akau stages. Richard Mason wasting no time establishing another blistering pace.
Well, Clinton, you mentioned the word awesome, and that's exactly what these stages are. They're long, they're fast, they're flowing, they've got everything. The drivers just love them.
Repeat 3 left, 3 right, flat cut, opens.
Of course, he's been the fastest Kiwi for the last 2 years in a row. Look at that, just throwing around sideways, but still very sharp. Probably a bit wide for Richard Mason. His time 19 minutes 37.3. Talk about pace, an impressive year so far for Hayden Paddon. He's been complaining about a lack of grip, but Roger looks like he's on the case now.
Well, it certainly does. A lot of speed coming out of there, but Hayden's been running the BF Goodrich tyres all year, and they've had one day running these Pirelli Scorpions like all the other competitors, and I think they're just starting to tune the chassis to the tyres now. They have complained about rear grip. Now, if you see there, if you get those tyres out a little bit in the loose on the outside, you're going to have a rear grip problem. But a nice line there for Hayden Paddon.
His time still 28 seconds down on Mason. In fact, it was this man, Stu Taylor, who was second fastest on the stage, slowly closing that gap on Paddon, now down to 22 seconds.
60, 3 left. Into 3 right opens. Into wake up, 3 left tightens.
There's that wake up call again.
Long 4 right opens.
Even though it's late afternoon.
Just keeping the driver on the case. Emma Gilmore, fourth fastest on the stage, but will drop to fourth overall behind Stuart Taylor.
Into 4 at minus opens.
But wait for it by just 0.1 second.
5 right opens.
Well, I think a lot of people have been very impressed with Emma Gilmore's speed and commitment this weekend. Looks like she's driving with aggression. She's certainly back.
And Westy continued to produce top 5 stage times despite that rearranged Evo. Hopeless task as he was still in last place by nearly 3 minutes. Consistency paying off though for Sloane Cox, the teenager, now in 5th place. Nearly 3 minutes down on Gilmore in that battle between Taylor, but driving to the finish, getting good experience in Repco Rally New Zealand. Kiwi 2, these Kiwis were flying. Ben Jagger, 8th fastest New Zealand car on this stage, 6th overall.
And just look at the speed and the commitment he's got through here. In that very first shot, he was right across the apex, driving very well.
Giving that Seed Force Fiesta heaps. In fact, Brendan Reeves lost ground here to the young Kiwi. The gap to Jagger was up to 18 seconds. And Malley was another 12 seconds back. Patrick Malley just didn't have the pace today to match the other two, but he was hanging in there in the Truth Fiesta.
Well, I think the other two have just upped the game a little bit. Brendan Reeve, the Australian, and of course Ben Jagger, they just seem to be going so well.
Talking about going well, Rob Wiley hadn't slowed at all in his bid to win the Classic battle
100
and that Classic title. 12th fastest on the stage, just 10 seconds behind Bert Murray.
60.
Well, you can actually hear a noise coming out of the back of this car, and probably it's the panhard rod or the 4-link suspension. It's on rose joints, and you hear it there. It's just clattering away. A lot of these rear-wheel drive cars are set up like this. Again, you can hear it there. Hopefully that's the problem, not something else, but Rob Wiley doing a great job today, Clint.
Bert Murray still held that Classic lead, but he was actually a second slower than Wiley on the stage, and any chance of the title now looked like being lost in Wiley's dust. In fact, Murray's only hope now was Deborah Kibble overtaking Wiley. And she was now over a minute behind, though. This has been her best performance of the season, finishing on a high. So on stage 11, Murray put his best performance in. He was 11th fastest, secured another rally class win, but it wasn't enough. And after 3 years of trying and consistently finishing in the top 3 in the class, Rob Wiley brought the ex-Tony Teasdale Nissan 240 RS home to claim his first and the car's second New Zealand title.
Just talking about that, Clint, is Rob Wiley has won it with the 240 RS, which Tony Teasdale won the title with. And remember, Bert Murray won the title a couple of years ago with the ex-Neil Allport car, and Neil won that championship as well a few years ago.
It's great to see those classic cars back in the championship, giving some other drivers a chance to pick up New Zealand titles as well.
Yes, well, let's talk a little bit about Rob Wiley too, because he thoroughly deserves this. He's put a lot in rallying over the years, helped Mike Marshall in the early days and then became a competitor, but he's been involved in organisation year and year with the rally in New Zealand, and now look at the speed they've got going through here. He's on his way to be New Zealand Classic champion.
Repeat, long 4 left, tightens.
Deborah Kibble would finish third in the end, but this too has been a great performance from the former New Zealand production car champion in a hard-fought classic battle. And after Sean Gray had problems, Shane Booth, returning to the rally, was the only one of the hybrid Kiwi 2 cars to finish. And also making sure they finished Keith Franken from the Hawke's Bay.
And showing a bit of pace today too, by the way, but this effort has got him home third in the championship.
Another classic drive from Keith.
Well, instead of calling him Careful Keith, we call him Classic Keith. And here's his great rival, Mike Cameron.
The classic cow cocky from Taranaki. Fourth in the classics. So it's Rob Wiley who takes out the title from Bert Murray, Franken Cameron and Deborah Kibble.
It's been great. We gave it sort of a couple of years, and the first year was a lot of learning and a lot of disappointments. And this year we've had a dream run, really, and we've had a bit of luck, but I think you probably need that anyway. And so it's great to come back here. You know, I spent 20 years helping to doing my bit in the organisation of this event, and then to come back and spend one day here, albeit, you know, that one day in the Possumbourne Memorial Rally was fantastic.
As we count down to the winners on day 2 of Repco Rally New Zealand. Chris West, 4th fastest on the final stage, but it was all too late. He would still finish the day last of the Kiwis. Andre Meyer sacrificed his time to get West going again, finished 14th, but happy to have that rookie title under the bag. Kirsty Nelson battled on to finish 9th. Callum McInnes moved up 2 places on the final stage to finish 8th and salvaged some points after a bit of a rough start in the morning.
Well, after a perfect weekend weather-wise on day 1 and day 2, a little bit of rain coming down, but I doubt whether that's going to affect anything.
Youngest driver in the rally, 16-year-old Rotorua teenager Sloane Cox, struck problems, losing 2 places to finish 7th with a sick engine. Late problems too for the rookie Ben Jagger, who saw his hard work disappear on the last stage.
We're short 4 right, tightens for 3. Oh God. Oh dude, but that was my fault.
Oh, it's a disappointment for the 2 Bens. Hey dude, crashed the car. So Patrick Melly would finish 6th overall, 2nd in Kiwi 2. With Brendan Reeves, the Aussie, taking the win by 8 seconds. Emma Gilmore was in the battle for 3rd, but just missed out by 6.6 seconds. Still, Roger, it's been an encouraging performance by Emma over the weekend in the Vantage Subaru.
Definitely been a very, very good performance, especially over these roads, because these roads are so fast. As we get a bit of a zigzag coming into this corner, but these roads are so fast, you've got to have good confidence, and I think she's getting a fair bit of that back. And thanks to Christine Mole as well.
Stu Taylor over the bridge.
Minus 120. 7 left, 100.
Great shots on board the chopper.
5 left.
For Repco Rally New
5
Zealand.
Right. Opens, then tightens. Long 5 left minus.
Well, he's spun, he's banged banks, had an adventurous weekend, but
60.
a good hit out for him, coming third place for Stu Taylor.
60.
Yes, he's been on a charge all weekend, actually, but done well. Done very well.
May not have had the pace of Richard Mason, but Hayden Patton heading home as the New Zealand Rally champion, only 21 years old.
Yes, well, Hayden has been trying to impress the PWRC teams this weekend, and it would be fair to say the team has struggled a little bit to get the best out of these Pirelli tyres. But in the end, he hasn't forgotten what he was here to do. Day 3 is another day, but today he is the youngest New Zealand Rally champion.
3 right. That'll do. Yes. Little champion. One that I can share for a change.
Hayden, congratulations. You are the youngest ever New Zealand Rally champion. Well done.
It's absolutely fantastic. It hasn't really sunk in there. She just went over the finish line thinking, shit, it's another bad stage time. We're losing more time, but I guess I can be happy about this. And it's been a massive team effort. Like when we set out in 06, we had a 3-year plan to win it, and we've done it. And it's just a huge credit to our team, our sponsors, John, Dad, just everyone who's got them behind us. And it's absolutely fantastic to do it. And hopefully this is the start of bigger things overseas.
Bad luck over the season to see Richard Mason drop out of contention for that title, but he's more than made up for it over the last 2 days of Repco Rally New Zealand. B&T team have given him the car. He's returned the favour. Stunning times.
Certainly stunning times, and really, he's blasted this field in both days.
Long 4 left plus over after crest. Repeat, long 4 left plus after crest 30. 4 right plus tightens.
Driving with great commitment. Every time he does a rally in New Zealand, he just gets faster and faster. This year, no exception. In fact, I think this is the best performance I've ever seen Richard Mason have. Fantastic display.
Well, he certainly did blast them in the end, didn't he?
Richard, congratulations. Total clean sweep. You won the first day and now you cleaned out the second day.
Oh, awesome. You know, we love Rally New Zealand. The roads suit my style. Up to this stage, there hasn't been too much rain, and I think that's helped us quite a bit.
Virtually won every stage again today. A big win.
Yeah, we got most of the stages, only the super special with the puncture, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes.
So Richard Mason, day 2 winner, but Hayden Patton wins the New Zealand title. Performance of the day probably belongs to Brendan Reeves, hanging in there to finish 5th in a Kiwi 2 car.
Brendan, congratulations. You got that Ford Fiesta in the top 5. You're 5th overall.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a real struggle this Arvo, but we ended up getting there.
The Kiwi New Zealand battle with Ben Jagger and, of course, Patrick Malley right behind you as well.
Yeah, well, this morning we struggled to know where we were compared to the other boys, and then halfway through at the service, Ben had a 10-second lead. So we thought going into this Arvo we could push a bit, but we had no preload on our diff, so being front-wheel drive, it was really tough out there, and we drove as hard as we could, but it was really tough. And then poor Ben coming unstuck in that last stage, ended up we took the lead.
So Hayden Patton is the champion, but who will be second? That'll be decided in Nelson, along with the Kiwi 2 title, after the demise of Aaron Cook. Patton also takes out the junior championship from the Rookie of the Year, Andre Meyer. The Cambridge teenager wrapping that up on the first day. Well, we started the day with hard work behind the scenes at Mystery Creek. We finished with more hard work going on. And what a champion day. A new champ, Hayden Patton, Shrek stunner, mate. Unbelievable.
Oh, fantastic. And I'll tell you what, Clint, the youngest champion we've ever had at 21 years old. Great for Hayden Patton. Great for his future. Who knows where he's going to end up.
And, of course, a classic performance, too, for Rob Wiley taking out that title.
Yes, he did. He just got in front of Bert Murray. I think there was only about 2 points in it. They struggled all day, but Rob Wiley came home with a victory.
So it now means we head to Nelson, the final round of the Vantage Aluminium Joinery New Zealand Rally Championship, to decide the Kiwi 2 trophy. So that's going to be something to watch out for.
Well, something else to watch out for as well is Richard Mason, Stuart Taylor, Chris West. There's very few points in them to 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the championship. But look at Richard's pace today. I'd probably have money on him down at Nelson.
Certainly, a lot to watch out for, and of course Richard Mason trying to be that first Kiwi home for the third year in a row here at Repco Rally New Zealand. On behalf of the team, I'm Clint Brown, along with Roger Davis. We'll see you in Nelson.
Talking about champion